So in this video, I'm going to show you how to make an automation to easily draft social media posts simply by just sending an email. So how this works is maybe throughout your day, you come up with a social media post idea. All you have to do, pull out your phone, send a quick email, and a post will be drafted for you within minutes, ready to be edited and then posted. My name is Garrett Jones. I run an AI automation agency where I help small business owners integrate AI into their business. So how this automation works is it can be broken down into 5 simple steps. So we're going to send the email, and then we're going to get the email. Then we're going to draft the caption. We're going to create an image based on that caption. And then we're going to create a draft for the post. And then finally send you the email so you, the business owner, can either edit the draft and then schedule the post to be posted or just publish it directly. We're going to first come over to this website called Zapier. This website basically connects all these several different websites together and allows us to automate different processes like we're doing today. So once you log in or create an account, you can you'll be brought to this homepage that looks something like this. What we're going to need to do is select New Zap, and then we'll be brought into an empty editor that looks something like this. So we're going to first set up a trigger. This is what kickstarts the automation. And in this case, we're going to have an email start the automation. So for me personally, I use Gmail. You can use other things like Outlook, maybe Apple Mail, depending on what you're using. So I'm going to select the Gmail block. And then I'll be brought to a little tab that shows something like this. So the trigger event, I'm going to select new mail, which this is what we want. We want the automation to trigger whenever we get a new email in our inbox. We're going to then select configure and select the inbox or the mailbox that we want to filter through and get the emails from. So for me, that's just my regular inbox. Lastly, we're going to test the trigger just to make sure it's working. So once it's finished testing, we can select an email that we're going to run the rest of the automation on. This is simply for testing purposes. So I just sent myself a fake email, kind of outlining what I wanted for a social media post. So I'm just going to select to continue with this email, and then just select continue with selected record. So next, what we're going to want to do is we're going to have a conversation with ChatGPT. So select ChatGPT, and then the action event is going to be we're going to select conversation. So next, for the message, we can actually get the message from my resource page, which has all the prompts for my past and this video. So we're going to select the sorting prompt here. I'm just going to copy this and paste this into the user message section. So essentially what this prompt is doing is looking at the previous email that we received and determining if that subject line is anything related to social media post. So if you're going to send yourself an email with a different subject line, make sure to change this in the prompt settings, or just remember to send yourself an email that says something along the lines of social media post as far as the subject line goes. Lastly, before we go any further, we're going to add the subject line from the previous email and add it right below here. So to do that, we just type a / and it will prompt us with all of the variables from the new email. So for this case, we're just going to select subject. You can see it populates there. So this is a dynamic variable which will change depending on the new email that we receive. The model I'm just going to leave as 4.0 mini, just because it's a lot faster and we don't need too much of a complicated answer here. as we just want the AI to respond with either yes or no. So we can select continue at the bottom and then test the step. So you can see we got the green check mark, so we're good to go. Next, we're going to add another step. We're actually going to add a filter, which is already an app or a tool built in by Zapier. This just allows us to filter out the emails that are not related to social media posts, which obviously would be a lot of social media posts depending on how many emails you get in a day. But the item that we're going to filter is from the response from this conversation block. So we're just going to click the drop down and then select the reply. And then if the reply contains or exactly matches, really either work, we could contains and then type out yes. That's the same thing that we told it to respond with in the previous prompt that we give it. So you can then select continue and then it'll test it. So then after this, we can go on to actually making the post now that we filtered out your emails and we're only getting the ones that you're sending that have a social media post idea. So again, we're going to get a ChatGPT block. And then have another conversation. So for this block is going to be responsible for generating our post captions. So the post captions, we obviously don't want ChatGPT to just randomly generate a post because you might have tried this before. It kind of just gives a generic post for the idea that you're giving it. It has no idea what your brand is about and the kind of way that your brand is portrayed to your customers and just the world in general. So to change this, we're going to actually make what is called a brand voice. So essentially, it just gives ChatGPT guidelines, or your marketing team in general, guidelines on how your brand is supposed to be conveyed to everybody else. So to do this, if you don't have one or you're not familiar with what these are, we can go back to my resource page and we're going to scroll down to this brand voice prompt. So what we're going to do is copy this prompt. And then we're going to open this ChatGPT block, or this link. So what this is a GPT. So if you're not familiar, people can train ChatGPT on certain pieces of information and then publish their own GPT. So specifically, this one is made for branding. You can see it helps with things like brand strategy, personality, tone of voice, and tagline creation, and they say beyond. So what we're going to do is we're going to paste in the prompt that we just copied, and we're going to fill out the information here. So you'll just want to do this for your company information. Try to give as much information as you can, just to help give the AI some information to go off of, but if you can't, answer a couple of questions. It's nothing big to worry about. Alright, so once we have this generated, we're going to copy mine, give it to me in the format of a table. I'm just going to copy this table, and we're going to go back over to our automation. We're going to scroll down to what is called the memory key. So we're going to paste this in here. This is just something that the AI's response can base some of the information off of. So it uses the brand voice along with the prompt that we're about to give it to make your social media post captions. So then we can go back over to the resource page and get the prompt for the user message. And this is again under the caption generation. So we're just going to paste this under the user message section. And the idea that we're giving it here is the body from the email. So again, we're going to type a / and then we're going to select the drop down under the email, and then we can just pass in this first variable right here called the body plain, which is just the body of the email in plain text. And then briefly go through this prompt and fill in these variable names, such as the social media platform that we're going to be posting on. For example, I'm going to put in Instagram, the company name, the industry you're in, again, the social media platform, and then a third time for the social media platform. And lastly, your brand name again. And then optionally, you can add a limit to your post. So you can say make sure it's less than a certain amount of words, paragraph, something like this. I'm just going to put in less than 1 paragraph. You can kind of test this and see how it's giving you the post, whether you want emojis, you don't want emojis, it's too long, things like that. You can adjust accordingly by just modifying the solution you're giving it here, or the prompt you're giving it here. Lastly, we're going to provide it with assistant instructions. This is just telling ChatGPT to act like, in this case, a marketing expert. So instead of just a helpful assistant, we might want something more specific for this case, a social media marketing expert with lots of experience in whatever industry you're in. From here, we can just select continue, and then we're going to test this as well. So after this, we're going to draft the image for the post. So again, we're going to add another step. Again, it's going to be ChatGPT. And then instead of the conversation this time, we're going to do generate an image with DALL-E, which is their image generation model. So when we go to configure this, we can again just copy the prompt that I've provided on the resource page. Essentially what this is saying is to generate a social media post, the image specifically, based on the caption that we're giving it. So we're going to use the caption from the previous step, the 4th step in this case, to feed into this prompt, and then it's going to create a viral Instagram post and telling the model to make sure the image is professional as it's going on a business page, and you can even put in your target audience in this case to get the image to be just kind of that much more specific to who you're targeting as far as customers or clients. So when we're going to put in the post description, we're going to again type the / to enter a dynamic variable. We're going to select the drop down under the 4th block, which is this conversation, the one that we just had, and again we're going to enter the reply right here. You can then do things like change the model. I might do the DALL-E 3. Quality, you could do standard or HD. Change the size depending on the platform you're posting on. Even change the style. I'm going to select natural, and then enter a user to if you would like. Select continue. We're going to test this. So once this is tested, we then kind of have to do a roundabout way of getting this image into our draft, which using another platform that I'll show you in a second. However, first we need to upload this image to something like our Google Drive. So if you connect to Google Drive, you can select upload a file, in which case you just select your drive, a folder optionally, I'm not going to do that, and then we are going to select the file that we'd like to upload. So this will be the image that was just generated. So again, we're going to type the / and then go to this 5th step, the generate an image, and we're going to actually select this data URL variable right here. I'm going to scroll down, select false for convert to document, as we want to keep the image or the file an image file. And then we can name the file, so something like post, and then we want to make this file name unique so that when we reference it in later steps, it will know what file it's looking for exactly. So an easy way to do this is just by using the email and then the date from the email, as it also has the exact time the email was sent. So unless you're sending 2 emails within the same milliseconds, we should be fine. So we might have a file name like something like post, and then the date that it was sent. And then this last step is very important. The file extension we actually need to specify as a JPEG file. So when we're naming this, we don't include the dot before the file extension, we just simply type JPEG. So this has a little bit more complicated of an explanation, but in short, JPEG is not saved the quality when it's compressed to a smaller file size. Don't worry, this doesn't look any different when we're actually making the post, but we do need to do this in order to integrate with the next software that we're using to draft the posts. So we can then select continue and then test step. Lastly, we're going to add, second to last, we're going to add another Google Drive step to find the file that we just uploaded. Select find a file, then we're going to configure it. So we're going to enter the same variable that we entered in the previous block. Mine was post with a colon, and then the date from the email. Search type, we'll just do file name contains. Really either would work here since we're just copying the exact same thing. I'm going to do file name contains just to be safe. Select the drive that we're searching from, and then optionally you can add a folder if you're storing them all in one folder in your Google Drive. File types, we're just going to leave this blank. You could enter image. I'm just going to leave it blank. Select continue, and then select test step. And then for the last step, how we're going to actually draft the social media post, you can come over to this website called Buffer. So you can create a free account. Once you log in, you'll be brought to a home page that looks something like this. So if we actually go to the Create tab at the top, you can see I already have some here, but you'll have this unassigned ideas tab, which is what we're going to be publishing the drafts to. So this doesn't publish to your social media when it's in here. I'll show you that in a second. So you're going to then connect your Buffer account to Zapier. And then once you've done that, we're going to select Buffer and then create an idea. When we're configuring it, you just select your organization. And then for the text, this is the caption for the social media post. So we can do the / again. And this is going to be from the 4th step, which generated our caption. We can select the first one, which is the reply. The media, we're actually going to select one image. And then the image, we're going to again do the / and the find a file from our Google Drive. We're going to select this first file and then select continue and test step. So now once we've done that, we can actually go back to Buffer and reload the page. So as you can see, we just have our post here with the caption and the image ready to be made into a post. So you can stop there, or optionally, I like to make it a little bit easier, just so you don't forget about it, is to add another step and then actually add an email step. So you send an email, the post is generated, and then instead of having to remember to go and check Buffer and the edit post and then schedule the post, I like to just add an extra step to send an email back to the business owner, just so they don't forget, with a link to Buffer, just so it makes their life a little bit easier. They don't have to remember what website is that, or did I make a post today, things like that. So we can go and select send email. Send an email. You can enter your personal email, whatever email inbox you'd like this email sent to. Select the from, and then the subject, something like your social media post or new social media post. Doesn't really matter, this is just going to you. And then we can enter the body, just something like and then we're going to copy the URL to this board and paste it in here. And again, this really doesn't matter. This is just an extra step to remind either you or the business owner that this post is ready, and they can click on the link to edit and then make the post public. So then we can select continue and then test step. So if I check my email, see, get a new email, it says my post is ready. I can click this, and then it'll bring me to the page that we were on before, where I can then select create post and then publish it, or have it scheduled for a time for it to be published. So yeah, that's how you make this automation to easily generate social media posts in your brand voice, simply by just sending an email. If you have any questions, let me know. Drop them in the comments below, or send me an email. And yeah, best of luck. Have a good one.